What's up, people? It's your girl, Adeola. So, Panama, a law firm in Panama with branches in more than 35 cities of the world is the one helping our corrupt officials to hide money and assets. We just know that money is disappearing, but the evidence of where the money was going to is in Panama. Are you serious? By the way, this law firm is only the fourth largest one that the International Concession of Investigative Journalists have hacked its system. Number 4. So imagine what we would find out when the biggest one is hacked. I'm sure that right now a lot of people are not able to sleep at night because, what a shame it is that Nigerians had to be on that list. Haba, why now? And these are not yahoo boys, so these are big people in Nigeria. The so-called lawmakers, my people. Ours has become a country where criminals are the ones making the law. That is God. So imagine the former Senate President David Mark was on the list. But why now? But why? 8 illegitimate companies in your name alone. My oga. Just to cover up money that you've stolen. David Mark. And I was not surprised that the former governor of Delta State was on the list. So, James Sibori, Ogrigo of Africa. Even though the man is in prison, he still has assets covered up in Panama. Now, the biggest one is the Senate President, Bukola Saraki, aka the Turaki of Ilore. They said that the properties were listed in his wife's name. I said, who is the civil who? When the investigators said it categorically that many of these people that they actually bought their assets in somebody else's name. That's another thing that this law firm has been doing for their customers. They allow them to buy properties in somebody else's name. I beg. Him and his wife know about this. So Jare, Auntie Benny, Boni, and you've been representing our first lady left and right. Even in America, you are the one coming. I say you have skeleton in your cupboard as well. They listed Saraki's brother as well, Laulu, and his associates, Obi, Asika, and Olufela Ibidapo. All other countries where people were named, people have been protesting left and right. Thousands of people are on the street protesting that these people must be arrested, they must step down, this, that. And their governments are on the case. In fact, the Prime Minister of Iceland has already resigned because they found his name on the list. As I'm speaking, they've already chosen another Prime Minister. Not only that, even in Ukraine, protesters are calling for Mr. President to step down by fire by force because they found his name on the list. Oh boy, has the Nigerian government said anything about our own people on the list? Of course not. Nothing. Corruption has so enveloped our mind that this type of case can easily be swept under the carpet. You may not do anything about it. Do you know what some of the senators were saying when Saraki's name came out on the Panama list? Some of them were saying that, this is just another effort of APC to persecute Saraki. I'm like, hey, it was APC that went to Panama to Abba. But with all the revelations we've had this week about Saraki, I have no problem at all believing that him and his wife know about it. So Jare, abeg, don't tell us stories. And speaking of revelations, despite his effort to sweep it under the carpet, Saraki's case continues at the tribunal. My people, my legs are shaking right now after hearing how much money this man has stolen from the people of Kwara State. I said, hey, Father, where is thy face? Just so you know, all these accusations against him were backed up with documents to prove. First of all, these people said that there's a 4 billion naira in Saraki's GT bank account, which he cannot account for. I didn't say 4 million. I didn't say 400 million. I didn't say 1 billion. I said 4 billion naira. And that is nothing. On a single day, somebody named Obi deposited 77 million naira into Saraki's account 5 times. My dear, 77 times 5. That is 385 million naira was deposited by Obi into Saraki's account. There was another day that Saraki himself deposited between 600 to 900,000 naira 50 times in a day. 50 times. Hey, whoa. Where was he getting the money? On May 19, 2009, $10,000 was deposited 18 times. 18 times in one day. into Saraki's GT Bank dollar account. That is $180,000. The last deposits were made by Saraki himself. They also presented evidence that he paid 200 million naira in order to buy a federal government property in Lagos. The people of Kwara told me that when this man was the governor of Kwara State, he was living in Lagos. He would fly to Kwara State in the morning and then fly back to Lagos in the evening. Once in a while, they said he would sleep in Kwara, but he practically lived in Lagos for the 8 years that he was governor. According to the witness from GT Bank, in one day, he wired 1.5 million pounds of the money of the people of Kwara State to his foreign account. 1.5 million pounds. Why are the people of Kwara not protesting that this man should be jailed already? Hey, job me. Hey. And then there was another evidence submitted that day that he converted 375 million naira into pounds, and he paid that to Fortis Bank, using that to purchase a property. Now, Fortis Bank, that's a bank in Belgium. So he takes the people's money and he buys properties for himself. Now, the thing that baffled me, first of all, that day when he got to court, he said he's very happy to be here. He couldn't wait for the case to begin. People were like, really, oh boy, you are not deceiving anybody. What do you mean you are happy? You think we don't know all that you did in order to prevent this court proceeding? They were like, I beg, you can't deceive us anymore. And then, do you know what his lawyer said? They said that, oh, he got all those money from selling rice. Hey! And Yara Laundering say that. You mean to tell me that Saraki produces rice and I did not know about this? Who is eating your rice if I'm not eating your rice? I eat Ofada rice. How come I didn't get to eat? They say Uncle Buki. No, some people said it is Uncle Buki. Some said it is
Sarakonda.
Anyway, so Saraki produces rice, and we've been pushing for made in Nigeria products all this while, and Uncle Saraki never once said, people should buy my rice, so I make rice, so saucy daban, kodana, until dauda. I'm telling you, Nigerians did not buy that lie of, oh, he's making rice. Look at what Nigerians are saying. Please, now when Saraki began sell rice and sugar, my brother, help me ask him more. Somebody else said, Kalu said that he was selling palm oil. Saraki now said he was selling rice. Another person will soon say he's selling pepper, and then meat. Food already be that, so Nigerians. Now this person said, so Saraki bought one of his houses from the sale of rice and sugar. Man, I'm quitting law right now. Sugar to take over. Yes, so people quit law, quit everything you are doing. There is money in rice. So apparently, according to Oga Saraki, if you're selling rice, you can be depositing millions of naira every day, 50 times in a day. But jokes aside, this man has stolen the future of young people in Kwara State. Why now? This is the money they are supposed to use to transform Kwara State. No be so? To construct the roads, repair the bad roads, build nice hospitals. Can you guys believe that for 4 years, they presented documents, evidence to show that for 4 years, after he was no longer governor, he was still getting paid the full salary of a governor. Oh my God, Nigeria! This man was getting paid the full salary of a governor every month for 4 years after he was no longer the governor. On top of his pension as a former governor knew, he was getting the pension and the salary at the same time. My dear, what about those shameless senators? Are they still escorting him to... Now their number has reduced? About 19. Those shameless people, their number has reduced to like 19. You guys know that when they started his case, Saraki was not even showing up in court at all. He wasn't showing up at the tribunal. He would just send his lawyer, as if, who is bothering me? They don't know who I am. I mean, nothing go happen. And then when he showed up, remember that almost all the senators followed him to court. Yes, as if that would change anything. Now, only 19 of them are following him to court. I said, maybe their eyes are opening there. But many of them are still saying they are willing to spill their own blood for Saraki.
I'm not following Saraki because he's the Senate president. I'm following him because he's my friend and I believe in his leadership and he's a good man. As far as I'm concerned, it's a very big shame for this country, for the mature citizen to be subjected to this kind of environment.
You see, these are the people that made Nigeria what it is. And what about, I bet that one will follow Saraki anywhere. His hands are not clean as well. So he cannot separate himself. Honestly, my people, it would be so shameful if at the end of all this, with all this evidence, if they just set a bail for Bukola Saraki, at least let Buhari use somebody as scapegoat so we know that he's serious with this fight against corruption. Now, the ridiculous thing, you would not believe, judges were forced to adjourn his case because there was no lights and they were using generator, and then the generator ran out of petrol, and you guys know there is fuel scarcity. What a shame. Nigeria, oh my god, you know, you guys know I don't know anything. Guess what, I'm just keeping it real.